Today, we've got a new desk. Do you have a new desk? This is ChillPoint.
Not just nude, but nude-esque. Thank you, Lord Serrano.
Yes. A nude desk.
Nude-esque.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, show where we talk about the week's video game news. And yes, today this episode of Checkpoint, and therefore this episode of ChillPoint, is we are filming this with our this brand new desk that we got in from various source from a source.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're allowed to say it out loud, are we?
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I know that they figured it out in the Discord.
Absolutely.
However,
Yes.
we said that we would potentially give the answer on Checkpoint, give people a week. Also, the people who don't watch this show then can actually get the answer.
There's that
and
too.
then learn that they should watch the after show.
I will say that we did not buy it at an auction for InfoWars stuff.
No, but I do think that's
No.
very funny.
I don't think we paid any money for it,
No.
We did not.
No.
which means we could have stolen it. Crimes.
It would have
Yeah.
taken
Crime desk.
It would have taken a hell of a long time to steal it because it's it probably weighs about 800 pounds.
Just somebody just like goes into work, sits down, it's like,
My desk is gone.
son of a.
They keep stealing my desk.
I got the heviest one, so they couldn't do it this time.
Yeah.
There's the thing where they like put their coffee cup out and let it go and it just falls. They're not paying attention.
I like that idea too because it means that what you do is you regularly take your cup full of coffee and you put it out over your desk and you hover it like a millimeter above the surface and then you let it go. Right? It's like I'm like nobody ever just does that, right? They
Yeah,
actually
please don't.
They put it down and they let go of it.
One of the things that is actually, aside from how it looks and everything, one of the things that is a definite improvement with this desk is that hopefully things like, well, that mug smash was probably not a
Well,
great
no,
example.
the mug's not, but like
Yeah, the tapping on the table is
a little bit different.
This is quite a heavy piece on top here, so doesn't transfer through the mics
Yeah.
as much as it
And
once
I
did.
personally look forward to Desert Bus having to try to move this
Yeah.
because they're not going to want this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I think because I think every year when Desert Bus moves into this room, they just use folding tables anyway.
Yeah, they moved the actual table.
They
out.
move basically everything out of this room and then put new stuff in it.
Yeah. So this will definitely be one of those things. It's like they're going to need furniture dollies, or very strong. I mean, the older we get, the more we need furniture dollies. So they'll probably have.
I mean, we moved it in here.
We
it's
did.
possible to move it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
that
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
weirdly, no one died, which is odd because there's later stuff we've moved
Yeah.
where people have died.
Like it's all. I mean, like anything else that you buy, it's made of components. And this Lexan top is not like welded to the rest of the desk, right? Like it's like this is a piece and this is a piece and the front piece here. This is its own piece, and they all weigh 150. No, they all weigh about 400 pounds. I don't know how much they weigh because I don't know how much a pound is anymore. I just know that this whole thing is at least 800 pounds. I'm sure put together. It just seems way too heavy.
Oh,
The entire thing is not 6,000 kilograms,
No,
though.
no.
That may have been a slight
The
exaggeration.
thing I think we can definitely say, because I kept seeing this pop up, no, we didn't take footage of people moving the desk in. And we needed everybody to move the desk in.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, other than us getting a new desk, there was some other news that happened this week
Yeah.
I don't remember us getting anything else new.
in the world of video games.
Oh,
Ah.
well, that's... Do we have to?
Other people in other video game companies may have gotten new desks. I don't know. But I'll tell you who is celebrating. Sony,
Oh yeah.
because it's
Oh,
their
yeah.
30th anniversary
Of PlayStation.
of PlayStation. Sony themselves have been around for a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
But it is the 30th anniversary of the PS1, I guess.
Right.
I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, really the birth of the brand, then I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I have I put my PS5 onto PS2.
Really?
Well, I didn't get a PS3
Okay.
because that honestly the smartest move I've ever made.
Sure.
And a PlayStation 4 is fine. But I had a PS2 for a brief period of time.
Yeah, so they got the like PlayStation boot up thing with those that like triangles, the triangles that came together, which was one of those things. Like I remember, we were looking at that yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, that's like a particular like iconic branding for PlayStation that they have not reused anywhere.
Yeah, that lasted one generation.
Yeah.
It's funny, I mean, Captain Spam says in an alternate universe, the PlayStation's 30th anniversary would just be lumped into Nintendo's video game history. And even then, I don't expect it. I think that whole exercise with Sony was intended to see what they could do video game-wise, and even if they had worked on a Nintendo PlayStation idea and they had made that as like the next generation console, I think that probably would have lasted one generation. They would have been like, yeah, we're ready to move on to our own thing.
Nintendo and Sony are two different two opposed companies.
I feel that there would have been like room for collaboration on that one thing, but but I feel it at some point it's like, and there's going to be a schism where it starts to spread off. Like all of these companies are big enough where they, like Microsoft is just out of the blue is like, we're gonna make a console, but at the same time they're also like, let's try to buy Nintendo, and then Nintendo was like, absolutely not. Like that's hilarious that you would do that. And they're like, they didn't just give up. They said, oh, well, we're gonna make a console then. Like the ambitions were there for these companies to participate in that gaming space. I feel like Sony and Nintendo wouldn't have had like a great handshake and lasted forever.
Oh, no.
In any universe.
But like I feel like it's just they might have made a thing. It might have been cool. Maybe they would have made a couple more things if it had worked out. Maybe
Yeah.
they wouldn't have.
That's true, right? Like that could have been. I mean, the N64 might have gone hang at that point. They might have just been like, "No, we're doing.
Yeah.
This is the thing we're doing for like 5 years."
A lot of these things do kind of end up depending on what the marketplace does, right? Like
Yeah.
if a thing doesn't take off.
I feel like we're deep into, what if World War II had gone differently?
Yeah.
Speculative fiction at this point.
Exactly. Tonight on Friday Night Paper Fight, we're playing Campaign for North Africa, and anyway, we'll see how differently
I
it goes.
prefer the form factor of the PS2.
It's true. Especially like
It is very thin, isn't
the
it?
super
Yeah.
well the updated form factor, like the new one that was like super thin.
Yeah, the really thin
PS2
one.
Slim, yeah.
As opposed to the PS5 Slim, where you have to put it next to a PS5 to tell that it's slightly different.
I would love if also when people release mods for like old consoles, they stop saying that, oh, I've now made the PS2 Pro, and it's like, no, you haven't. You've added an HDMI port to it. Which is a mod that existed that somebody's been working on in different ways for like the last 10 years.
Oh, that's just people
That's
trying
not
to.
the pro version of anything.
That's just clickbaiting, though.
Yeah.
That's
It drives me
people
up the
trying to
damn
get-
wall. I expect that what it means is that when you're modding consoles, that it's like, I've made the Pro. Like when I put together that really nice Game Boy Advance for you, right? Assembling of a bunch of parts that other people made and did whatever. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is not the Game Boy Advance Pro. This is just a better version, a more modern realization of an original thing.
And we call that the Pro.
I guess we do.
As we were talking, so the idea here is that it's the 30th anniversary, so they did a bunch of promo stuff. They made the new boot up thing. They also made this, what's supposed to be like interface customization
It's
for the different things.
It's a wallpaper.
Yeah,
Essentially.
I was kind of disappointed. Like when it was like interface customization for things, I was like, oh, cool. And it's like a background picture and a sound pack.
Yeah, you thought they were going to bring back the PS2 ribbon or something like that, or the PS3 ribbon, like however they had those interface things. But
And we also talked about how like the PS1 doesn't actually have a UI. Like you
Yeah.
stuck a disc in and it played. That was the UI.
right, but if you use like the CD player version of their UI,
Right.
you could have done that
There
kind
was.
of thing.
There was
there was-
the CD. They
Oh,
could have
Jesus.
they could have based the UI on the PS1 CD player.
I take it back. Maybe don't do that for a video game console interface.
It's not like it forces you to use that.
But imagine if you could have chose that to use for your PS5.
Yeah.
What
they
they're saying-
should have put in there.
What they're saying is what you're saying is they're cowards.
Yeah. They are.
You're not wrong. That big exit button, it's just a bunch of paint splotches. Oh my god. Oh my god! At least I'll give them this. Almost everything in that lines up perfectly. Like almost everything is aligned, and you're like it went into a real product.
And the memory card, like where you can go in and like you could like go in, to go in and like edit your memory cards, like to delete games and stuff.
Yeah.
Had a similar
feel. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the 90s are back.
I mean, no, this is a picture of the 90s.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's not back.
That's not how time travel works. That's how history works.
They're here now.
Anyway.
God, it's like Splatoon before Splatoon.
Yeah.
Like every time you look at a picture of your grandparents doesn't mean they're alive.
That's too bad. I wish that was true. I like my grandparents.
So they're and people were a little bummed that apparently this is only going to be like a temporary thing.
I mean, it is a bit weird. Like I can understand the store part where it's like, here's different games that we have that you can buy now from these eras. I could understand that going away. That's an online storefront thing that's going to want to get updated. It's a screensaver image style thing.
Yeah.
Why does that? Why?
Yeah, I mean, there's no technical reason why. I think it's mostly just like they want it to be something special. I mean, the
You gonna tell me that things are special if people like give me something? If I give you a gift and then I take it away after 30 days and like, well, I hope you enjoyed your time with it. It was special now.
Gift.
I mean,
like,
my time with that gift would be more special, I guess, because I would know that it would be limited.
Oh no,
that's called like. I mean, that's
called like
just
renting. Borrowing. That's
borrowing.
That's not even really giving a gift.
It's borrowing.
That's okay, but that's a crap shot. Right there is like giving somebody a gift on Christmas and coming back on January 25th and taking it back from them, being like, "I hope you enjoyed this limited time gift." It's like, what? And it's like, yeah, part of the EULA you signed on Christmas was that you'd be able to enjoy this for 30 days, and now the celebration is over, and now I'm going to, take it back.
My dad's given people library books before.
That's a chore.
They're wrapped, and it's like, here's the library book. You have to. By the way, you should return it in like 3 weeks.
that is the most contemptible fucking thing I've ever heard. It didn't cost me anything to take it out.
But that's the thing. Okay, so
he's like, you should read this book.
You've worked at a library though. He would have had to take it out under his own card.
Oh, that is a level of trust.
Yeah. So if you don't return it,
right,
he gets late fees, and if you really don't return it, he has to buy that book.
Yeah, pay $150 for it. Yeah,
it's basically like a strong suggestion to read this book. Is basically all it amounts to.
That kind of is like a really strong suggestion. Anyway. Yeah, holy shit. That's so good.
But yeah, the way some people have looked at it is like, maybe they're taking it away so that they can then later sell it to us. $5 for a PS1 scheme.
I mean, that's an option. That's a thing they could do. If they've said that they want this to feel special, so it's only a limited time thing, they're not going to sell it to you for a little while, because otherwise it goes against that.
Yeah.
Although, what do I know? People lie all the time.
It's true.
Or they don't have all the information. Sometimes someone says that because it's like, no, this is why we're doing a thing, and nobody else has told them. No. We're going to make you look like an idiot later.
The other thing that was kind of interesting about this is, this maybe will have changed by now, or it might be like a US Canada thing or something. But in the story, Graham talks about in the story that they did sections for the PS1 games, for PS1 games, PS2, PS3, and PS4 games that are playable on PS5.
Yeah.
Some of the sections being a little anemic, like the PS1 section, there's only like a dozen games.
I can't imagine there's that many under PS3, given that the structure was incredibly different.
I mean, these aren't games that were playable. These are like games that there are versions.
Yeah, but that means those are remakes.
Yeah, remakes or re-releases or
as
whatever.
Opposed to like a port or something.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, so he wrote that on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Thursday morning, I was doing the graphics for this, and I messaged Graham and I was like, I don't see that. Like I looked in the store and I looked through all the different places. I don't see where they have these different collections. And he went like, wait a minute, it's not there anymore.
Oh no.
And so the image that he went back and found like a video of somebody showing that off.
Yeah, the image that got shown, I saw that.
And
It's gone now?
and screenshotted it. But apparently, at least this yesterday morning, Graham wasn't able to find it again. So maybe maybe I don't know if anybody's on their on their PS5 and can check. But whether it's why if they already made it go away, or whether somebody was like, maybe we should take this away. There aren't very many games in it.
It's a little embarrassing, or maybe
Yeah.
they're like, it shouldn't be in Canada. Take it off of Canada.
I think it'd be really funny if it was like, after you look at it, it's like, great, you've seen it.
I mean, that's
Your one
happened.
chance to buy.
That's happened a few times in, that's something that comes up occasionally in ChillPoint stuff, little behind the scenes things. Somebody will write a story and the story will hint, or not necessarily hinge, but part of the story will be talking about, like, say, score of the game on a review website,
Right.
or certain, or that there's been like a whole bunch of really vitriolic feedback on something,
Or a bunch of social media posts
or a
have
bunch of
suddenly
social media
been
posts,
deleted.
and then by the time I get there, they've all been deleted,
Yeah.
and I'll be like,
Or numbers have changed.
yeah, or numbers have changed, or the thing that whatever isn't there anymore.
The fact. Yeah.
And which doesn't change the fact that it happened and the story is still valid, but I don't have anything to
it's,
illustrate it.
illustrate it. And so I often ask the writers to be like, please, if you see something that's like specific to your story and might change, please screenshot it.
And more often than not, like, I have run into things where I've been like where when I have seen it, I've been like, I better save that just in case, because I don't know what the future's going to hold for this
Yeah,
thing.
and it's not even like the story's evolved or changed. It's literally just the information that was available when that story came out
Yeah.
has
Or
fluttered
the,
off.
or the other one is that Beej will reference something that I have no idea what it is.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I'll be like,
he'll do
please
Provide.
please provide, what are you talking about?
I mean,
That's
there
really
have
how
been,
it manifests.
Yeah.
Is what are you talking about?
There have been a few nights where, on occasion, Beach will be like, "We have this game. Can you go open it and do this thing and get a screenshot?"
Because I cannot get a screenshot to save my life. Can you, like, out of because there's none online I can find, but I need this one screenshot.
I know
Can
it
you
does
go
this.
get it? Yeah.
I know that it exists.
It has happened, but where I've done that. There's been other
Yeah.
instances with providing, like, it's like 90, like 4 nines worth of my stuff will always be evergreen. Like, you'll always be able to find it. It's part of the article. There's not a thing of that kind of, but there is that rare occasion where it is like, oh, I think this is going to go away, and then I try to grab it and have it for you. And then also when I'm writing stories, generally there'll be a whole bunch of highlights that are showing the comments on the side, where I basically be like, for this I want this image, for this I need something like this, or it'll just be a series of apologies to Paul.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about the next story.
Great.
Oh,
Talking about
it's funny you never read the apologies out loud.
Gran Turismo, or my first Gran Turismo,
Hell yeah.
which is sounds, as Beach said, the story sounds like kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's basically a demo for Gran Turismo 7, but it's sort of couched in this idea of like instructional, and so it's not just like, here's the first part of the game. It's legitimately being like, here's how to play Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Because if you are used to, say, more arcade style racing games, I would imagine being dumped into something like Gran Turismo would be a little bit off-putting.
Well, and if you've played, like, maybe if you were like, even if you are somebody who played like Gran Turismo 1, 2, or 3, like the early ones, that kind of thing, and maybe you haven't played Gran Turismo in a while, so like
Yeah.
there'll be little advances to that. Or you're a person who looks at sim racing and you're like, oh, I like racing. like arcade racers or that kind of thing, or kart racers or whatever. But like, I could never actually play this, or you've tried it on your friend's
Right.
system. You're like, I can't do this. I'm not paying $70 for a thing that's a pain in the ass. This is a great idea.
It's perfect. If you have a friend who's really into racing games, but you don't want to buy a racing game, you can get the demo, learn behind their back,
Yeah.
and then school them.
And the nice
nice.
thing about this too that I've noticed is that as a demo, they really have limited. I don't know if Gran Turismo 7 lets you play multiplayer. I assume that it
no
does.
clue.
But this makes no bones. Like it has, or I should say, it makes no mention. That's a different turn of phrase. It makes no mention of multiplayer at all because I think it does not want to support multiplayer. I think it is literally, this is for you to train yourself on how to play
Oh yeah,
this game.
probably. I wouldn't expect this to have multiplayer on it.
Yeah.
The
full game maybe, but I have no clue.
And people have talked about how this references this like my first Sony, which are these, which to be fair, it's a very cool set that Sony put out a while ago. And I think, and as you said, I feel like there's definitely some retro appeal here.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, here we go, like a PS5 in bright
Jesus.
red, yellow, and blue.
Yeah.
For like the shell,
Right.
that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think that would be really neat to see. Like, I'm sure there are people who are
That's
developing.
how you can tell Beach is into Nintendo.
Yeah,
No, seriously,
Yeah.
that's the complaint that everyone always has about like Nintendo.
I own an
when they
Indigo
don't.
GameCube, and
when
then
they
I went out
don't-
and got an Orange Spice
Yeah,
GameCube.
but like people will complain about like it being too bright, looking like a kid's toy. You're saying PlayStation 5 should do this thing, and Beach was just all off his like angry stick about how boring the gray was from the original PlayStation
Yeah.
that they were doing the anniversary edition of, but everyone was like, no, that's what I want.
See, I think a special edition should be like special. Like it should, no, but it should be. It should be like. It should be very. It should be eye catching and different,
Yeah.
weird. It's not like. It's like it's normally black, but we're bringing out a special edition dark gray.
Yeah.
And it's like
No, it's like
Big whoop.
when Sony did a PS4, they did a limited edition PS4 in translucent blue, and I'm like, that's ballsy as hell. Good for you.
I think a special edition should be special.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a silly thing to say.
I get
but
what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
yeah,
but
it's like I don't. Yeah, it just there. I feel like because when Apple did the whole iMac thing, and then everything was translucent, this and that, right? Like
Yes.
in the computer
was
as
fun.
it
field.
should be.
Yeah. But Nintendo did the translucent plastic stuff for like the N64 and whatnot. That did not catch on as a thing. Like Game Boys and like Game Boy Pockets and frickin' and Game Boy Colors and N64s were all coming in this translucent plastic stuff, and that did not go anywhere. But for the iMac, it was like drop the iMac, Bondi Blue, and all of a sudden there's just everything everywhere is all being like, oh, we got to make translucent plastic, whatever. All computer cases all have to come with that shit on it now. It's like all those kind of things. It's like there is something that grabs the imagination about introducing color into your items. And like on the Drew
Well,
Carey
letting
show,
you see inside your items.
like on the Drew Carey show, everybody was using, this is old sitcom folks, everybody was using your standard PC whatevers, but on Mimi's desk, because Mimi was dressed like a Harlequin clown all the time, like she was done up in the brightest of everything.
Right.
And they gave her an iMac because they were like, her computer should also, like everything on her desk and everything about what she's doing should reflect who she is as a person as well. That she's this incredibly like eye-popping, garish, standing out, whatever. We give her the computer that stands out. And apparently that did a lot to sell Macs as well, because people were like, where do you get that thing she has on her desk? I
right.
love
It's
that.
not just a prop. It is a real thing.
It's a real thing. So there was a lot of that, appeal.
I mean, in Legally Blonde, she got, I believe she got the clamshell. I'm pretty sure she got it in pink somehow.
Yeah.
Yep. I think there might have been a pink version of that.
The strawberry or something, maybe?
Yes.
I mean, the one that you usually see is
The toilet seat style.
Yeah.
called clamshell. Thank you very much.
That iBook came in Bondi Blue, Graphite, Lime, Orange, and I think it came in Blueberry. I cannot
had like
remember.
a teal and like an orange color were
Yeah.
like your basics.
Yeah, Bondi Blue was teal. Yeah.
Anyway, so this idea they're bringing it out, and this story did have a few little notes from Beige about different. So there was this meme that I showed in the.
Oh right, the
For the play the adult racing game thing like
Right.
Automobilista or
Yeah.
Assetto Corsa.
this is one of my least favorite memes.
Yeah.
I don't, and the idea that I don't understand what this meme is saying, and I don't think Beach did either.
Nope. Not a clue.
But the idea that it is kind of the idea that all communities, especially when they get sort of a certain amount of sort of insular communities, start they have their own.
Oh yeah, they have their own language.
Language.
And then they take the accepted language, like the meme language, and they'd be like, well, it's all templates anyway, and they overlay their stuff on top of it, and you realize.
And people are like, that's hilarious.
It's like, I should know what that is because I know what that meme is representing and I know what it's trying to say. And it's like, that's the whole of representational language. And it's like, I should be able to Rosetta Stone this shit.
Can I read that out loud?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So this is the Beige had the he wanted to show the itch.io thing for adult racing games.
Spong Bob fails a boating test.
Jesus Christ, Paul! I have no idea how you're going to show just the SpongeBob thumbnail, but I was trying to capture NSFW racing games as a stand-in for adult racing games. You have my apologies in advance. Dig out that blur tool, I suppose.
And you found a way to do it.
It just happened. The sort of cropping happened to work out okay. That I didn't actually even to blur anything.
Did you click on the link before you read my apology?
No.
Great. Okay.
I read your apology and then I clicked on the link.
I just didn't want you at 9:30 in the morning to open up your thing to start doing work, click on a link and be like, why did Beach send me like titties? Why did he do that to me again?
I
haven't even had coffee yet.
I feel like you've requested worse graphics.
That's true.
I mean, there's only one time I've known Beach to accidentally send someone something.
Oh, it wasn't accidental. That thing I sent to Featherweight?
No, the King Kong dong.
Oh, yeah.
That was an accident. You didn't see
mean
the
to
second
send
image.
that. No, didn't see the second image.
Again, there's
All right.
only one time I know that you've done
All
it
right.
accidentally.
There is all this stuff about this isn't just about playing the game. It's embarking on your personal driving journey.
It is a lot. Like, I know that if you're a person who does that game, you're probably really into this idea.
And I think they are sort of the true believer sort of in the concept of sort of motorsport. But
I mean, I'm willing to believe that Ian has a personal driving journey within video games.
it's true. The journey is mostly like around in a circle in one place.
Gant.
Well, I mean, at that point, there's nothing but the journey.
Yeah.
Because there's no destination.
Yeah.
But this, like, I see that and I get like all like, ugh, because it's motorsport and the kind of like how it attracts people to be like, let's get in our cars and make them more powerful and let's give them more, like, burn more gas and roll coal and like all that kind of horse shit. And I'm like, we are doing a number on the planet. And I like cars, but I also like guns, but I like them because I like the machinery of them, right? It's the kind of thing of like, I find them fascinating. The more features you add, the more things you do. And it's like, here's how everything works in concert. And the mechanical nature is very interesting and all that. And it's like, I fucking hate driving, Paul. I used to love driving so much. Heather knows I hate driving now. I hate driving at night. Why? Because headlights are too bright. And it's not just me. There's so many people who think this now.
Beach is an old man now.
But it's
For
just
sure
like
this time.
it's like just all that stuff has ruined, like the headlight thing especially has just ruined my interest in being able to drive my car, because driving around Victoria and just being caught in like floods of headlights and stuff, and I'm like, it's not even a nice town to drive in to begin with, and then that on top of it, I'm like, this sucks. And I'm like, I hate the fact that there are games that are like, oh, promote the idea of driving fast and wasting fuel and like doing all these things. But then I'm like, no, promote the games that do that get you interested in doing that. So, and get people building simulators in the closets under their stairs. Do that shit. Get them off the streets.
I mean, the nice thing about on a racetrack is you're all going the same way.
Yeah.
So the headlights are less of an issue.
Oh, I know.
If somebody's got his headlights in your face when you're on a racetrack,
There's a different issue.
you or him are going in the wrong way. There's something has gone wrong.
The other day, I was just like, I would just like to take my vehicle out to the speedway, and like maybe with like a dozen other people or whatever, and just be like, we're just gonna drive in a circle, guys. We're just gonna drive in a circle at like 90 kilometers an hour, and just do that for about 25 minutes, just as like a thing of being like, I can feel better about driving again. Finally, I can just kind of enjoy the fact that I'm driving a car, and it's interesting and fun to pilot this thing and go fast.
I've never found driving to be interesting.
It's fun to go fast.
Well, yeah, going fast, but I can do that on a roller coaster.
Yeah, or on a Shinkansen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, trains. Trains are where it's
Trains
at.
are where it's at. We should have more trains.
All right. Well, let's move on to Dagrun Age.
Durganrod?
It took me a minute to decode.
Dagrun Age, the Veal Guard.
Veal.
Is
Yeah, Durgan's probably veal.
And I think this was sort of as a promotion with, I think it's probably like Dragon Age Week or something. But they have released a character creator for Dragon Age.
Standalone.
Standalone character creator.
Character creator
There's
was in the game.
There's a character creator in the game.
And now there's one.
Now there's one
outside the game.
separately. And that, this is a story that Cameron wrote. And as he points out, usually that's something that you would release before the game came out.
Honestly, it would be, it would have like a couple weeks before the game came out, because people would have been streaming, working on their character creators. If it's a really in-depth one, you're going to be at it for a couple of hours anyway, get you really hyped for like starting up the game.
So
then you could actually start the game when it comes out.
Yeah, so somebody kind of flubbed the release on that. But anyway, especially since like in the PlayStation Store or whatever, there's like Dragon Age Veilguard, and then beside it there's like Dragon Age Character Creator, and then which is listed as like it's put in there as like a Dragon Age Veilguard demo.
Oh.
I guess because it's like a portion of Veilguard.
Huh.
But as Cameron points out, that would give you an inaccurate picture of what the gameplay of Dragon Age is.
That's a good
It
point.
is not just moving sliders around.
Yeah.
As you change
This is my first Dragon Age.
if you change somebody's head to be very, very flat. So yeah, and I appreciate a lot of people. A lot of people in the chat were felt very seen by very Cameron's things about different BioWare games, the immoral quandaries into hilariously actionable binaries. HK telling you about love. Liana telling reading stories, and why Jack is straight.
There were a lot of people who had a comment about Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently that is an ongoing issue of concern with the community. I haven't played it. Anyway. And then finally, Fitness Boxing 3.
Oh, not finally, because
Oh, no, not finally.
Yeah.
Right, we've got more
5
stories.
stories this week instead of 4.
Fitness Boxing 3, your personal trainer. Which is... So this story, this is one of these stories where like the story is actually just like information about the game. Like it's not that like something weird happened with the
No.
game.
It's
This is
got
just a
some good
review.
stuff to it, actually. I mean, I know the story centers on the idea of like, oh, the characters now have like chapters you can unlock when you spend more time with them, but it's also got boxing for people who want to sit down and do boxing.
Yeah, so it's got like seated boxing.
They also, I think they have some boxing that doesn't rely on the rhythm aspect of the thing. You just want to do the boxing.
The mitt drills
right?
are now just you can just hit things.
Yeah.
They even have like their rapid fire portion on the like in the Fist North Star one where you just go what just at the very end. So
I believe seated boxing is a form of martial arts that.
It's like Drunken Master. Yeah.
Yeah, that has been demonstrated in. I feel like Jackie Chan could probably demonstrate that
absolutely.
pretty well.
Yeah. It'll be a sport in the next Olympics, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's interesting in the fact that like it's fitness boxing is one of those games where if they really wanted to, they could have just been like every couple years we make a new one and there's 20 different songs.
Yeah.
The end. No more to do. And instead they're like, no, there's actually different features.
Yeah.
That might be useful. You might like better.
And so now they have the and so they've got the and as the sort of thing that is sort of interesting is this like box and bond mode, which if you train with a certain trainer for a certain amount of time, you start unlocking stuff where they talk about their opinions about training, I guess. And presumably it's not going to go into like deep detail about their lives, but.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's going to have like the kind of story you get out of like a Love Live game where it's like the entire point of the game is them being idols. So all they talk about is like their idol shows. In this case, they're trainers. So all they probably talk about is their training.
They're
just, bro, I lifted some sweet weights last night.
Maybe.
There's
I had a hard time doing this stretch, and now I figured it out. Like, I don't know what you expect.
There's an aspect of it where, like, I get it makes sense that you can customize your trainer in various ways.
Yeah, you usually get them different outfits.
But for some reason, in that particular context, it feels weird. Like it feels to be like, I need you to train me to box. Wear these clothes while you do it.
Put this on.
Which
could you dye your hair blonde? Thanks. Okay.
I mean, the Fist of the North
Star. Because normally
Star,
you're customizing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
can't see yourself.
Fist of the North Star had like some of that too, where you could change out the clothes, which was kind of funny.
Doesn't he just like have no shirt all the time though?
He's
so
got like a ripped vest
ridiculous
thing.
Yeah, Kenshiro usually is wearing the vest
so you
before
can
he
see all the
loses his
gunshots
vest.
that he took.
Right.
Oh, right.
It's got a storyline which is just Fist of the North Star, but we've replaced certain words with the word exercise.
You're already exercised.
we played this like we played it once on Rhythm Cafe, and it's actually like pretty funny as a fitness game. I have the Hatsune Miku one, but I haven't played it yet.
Is it not actually that? Is it not actually like that rhythmy for the purposes of like Rhythm Cafe?
Oh no, there is a rhythm boxing portion to it. It's just
exhausting.
Do you think that
rhythm boxing is an actual exercise?
Do you think that Fitness Boxing 3s might show up on Rhythm Cafe?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know if we did one or not. I thought we did one, or did I just play one? I can't keep them straight now.
Well, I mean, it would be a good excuse to get a copy of it. And put it on the thing.
Ian and I like to
put in an hour and then play lo-fi ping pong.
It's fun to grab a fitness game for Rhythm Cafe because you have to make a profile for one person. There's clearly two of us, so we try to add our heights together, and then we like.
And so the game, and then you're sort of very wildly different.
We're a very tall, wide person. Sometimes we try to add. We try to make a guesstimate of everybody in the moon base because it's the lure count. And
okay.
You can't make people that tall, but we tried.
I
think we did an average.
You don't average. You just add them all together.
We tried to add them all together. I think we had to do an average last time.
One person, just the size of the entire office.
I do think that adding more of that basis of we can help you develop a deeper relationship with your trainer. I'm like, most people don't want a deeper relationship with their trainer, right? Like, I don't need to know about my, it's like, oh, how's the wife and kids? It's like, we can't have kids. I'm like, oh, great. Like this has become awkward all of a sudden.
So
Also, I have a husband, and it's like, okay, I'm really not paying
know-
attention to who you are, am I?
I know for you, you're like, I go get my hair cut and I want to know minimal details about the person I'm talking to. I've seen my new hairdresser like 3 times, and they're such a geek. It's so great.
Yeah.
I know too many things about them.
I mean, the guy who cut my hair most recently, he likes to build model cars. I was very interested in this kind
Yeah.
of thing. I'm like, let's talk to me a little bit more about that kind of thing. You get a little bit more, and then that's it. And I'm kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
If you
I
end
also
up-
don't mind sitting here and not saying things to each other. I'm completely fine with it.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, hey, I'm working out with a trainer. Hey, it turns out they're really into model trains.
Yeah.
It would be cool if in fitness boxing, like the stuff, like you find it like, you know, that they have like some of the trainers are like, trainers like super into Mario, or you know, if it's or super into like, you know, something that isn't like fitness related, like they just have, you know.
Because I think they want to know a lot about you.
I have a life.
I mean, the
outside.
assumption we're making is that it's all going to be very lightweight about training, but we don't really know.
I hope that it's more like that it isn't like the kind of things they get up to on their day off or whatever, you know.
I mean, one of them might have a pet, and because of the kind of game it is, you know that pet will never die.
That's true. That's very true. Yes.
Or
what if one of them?
Pet.
What if one of them is currently like, oh, my dog died 3 days ago, and
I don't think that's gonna happen.
it goes really dark all of a sudden.
Yeah, after
Can I get at least
you
10 more reps?
you unlock the like trauma dump from your trainer. Yeah, it's probably not what they want.
Game starts with a survey. How dark do you want this to go? What?
Speaking of dark things, X Defiant shutting down.
Right.
It has shut down in the sense that they aren't
Updating it.
They aren't updating it anymore. Well, no, they aren't selling stuff anymore, but they are going to. Apparently, the 3rd season was already done or whatever. So they're going to release that, and they're going to be shutting down the servers in June.
So kind of just in like, it's in like, you know, not even maintenance mode. It's just in kind of like it's
They're like, if you're already playing it, play it for a bit longer, but don't bother.
It's on life support. Yeah.
I mean, X Defiant was a name I completely forgot about. And if you had just said, hey, so X Defiant, what do you think that is? I'd probably have said some sort of weird off-brand toothpaste. Like,
yeah,
some sort of teeth guard for your dentures. Like,
maybe like an esports team.
Okay.
oh, maybe. Yeah, if I had to guess that it was like a video game related thing.
Like, do you think it was going to be Defiant, and then they just put an X in front of it to be like, oh, it's got to be more hardcore. It's got to be cooler for the kids.
Oh my god. I'm just trying to picture now a brand of toothpaste marketing themselves as X Defiant. Like, I'm like, it's like that
It
gum
sounds like
called
a
Five,
Yeah.
where it was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? But I mean, there was a gum called Stride or something for a while too, and I was like, I don't like that. That sounds like it should be a brand of like, adult incontinence furniture or something like that, like the kind of thing that you have to wear when you start to have the troubles.
I
But
don't think it's called furniture.
yeah, apparatus. Is that what I meant to say instead of furniture?
I don't know if we should let Beach talk anymore.
It's just very like yeah.
Your weird choices are
X
weird.
Defiant does not sound to me. X Defiant sounds to me like some sort of bathroom cleaner.
Yeah.
Like if I was to pick any sort of thing that is not a video game, I'm like, clearly it's some sort of like spray cleaner.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like it has that like, oh, this will clean something really well, or it will like
to get
protect
pet
your
stains out.
protect your counters from grime.
Yeah.
That kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
And I could picture the way the font of it looks even.
And
like,
it's like industrial strength. Like you have to go to Home Depot to buy it, kind of thing. Like those.
like it's
Zep
not something
things.
you really see on the shelf, but you know it exists.
Yeah, and you're like, that's a stupid name.
Yes.
So there's no commercials for this actually, because it's only professional cleaning companies actually buy this stuff. Oh God, that's what it feels like. Yeah. Or it feels like some sort of like thing that you have to get in Electronics Depot that you used to like clean contacts on your motherboards or something.
The thread on X, aka Twitter, from executive producer of X Defiant, X Defiant YouTube producer, Mark Rubin, talking about because there was an article a while ago, back in October. There was an article about how X Defiant was not doing well and was on the cutting room or on the chopping block.
Right.
And so then Mark Rubin, the executive producer, did this whole, and Graham talked about it, did this whole post on
Right.
thing being like, to be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down after season 4. I've literally been in meetings in this past week to discuss our year 2 plans, blah, 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 talking about all this stuff. I'll post the link here. In hindsight, not only is there either he was rather misinformed or there were things going on that he did not know about.
Right.
But the responses are a little tragic.
Yeah.
A lot of people being like, yes, those journalists always lying all the time. And being like, hey, I'm so glad these rumors are constantly being shut down. I've been playing since the beta and I have no chance stopping. The best FPS in years.
Some
Don't
of these
do
people
this
are about to learn a valuable life lesson.
misinformation.
6 weeks is a very long time in video games, it seems.
It
Yeah.
is, actually. You can do a lot in 6 weeks in a video game.
Right. This is the one, my favorite. I appreciate you finally making a statement. This game is going to last a long time.
Is that a real person? 'Cause
That was a real
I've heard there's a
person.
lot of AI bots that reply to things now.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
maybe that's an AI bot that was similarly misinformed. I don't know.
That definitely reads like the kind of email I tend to get these days, usually from .pl email addresses that are trying to sell me something or to get me to approve them putting posts on our blog. The great writing site full of insightful things like loadingreadyrun.com/blog.
So this is people mentioned Concord, and this it has a similar feel to it. Although this is not in any not as abrupt, obviously.
Yeah.
But they it was only a couple months they had. Like it was in beta for a while, and then it was officially released in March.
X Defiant was.
X Defiant.
Yeah.
Or May, sorry.
Yeah. They had an opportunity to actually make something of this, and then it I guess did not
But I mean,
achieve critical mass.
again, it's a tough business. It's tough business. But the particular area that these people are going, Concord and X Defiant was free to play, but
Yeah.
it's a tough thing that you're breaking into because it's a pretty locked up market. So you've got to, and it's a locked up market, and it's kind of a it's sort of a net zero kind of a situation. Like somebody's got to be giving up market share for you to be getting in there.
Yeah.
I think anybody who wanted to be playing a big online first person shooter is already playing some online first person shooter.
Well,
so you've got to be stealing people from other places.
and there's that.
And people don't necessarily have time to be playing a whole ton of different first-person shooters.
We talk about the concept of network effects way more often these days than we have ever done before.
Right.
Like media is one of those things that's like it's highly dependent upon network effects, way more than it ever used to be. You can maintain a newspaper at 100,000 subscribers, but when you get a newspaper that has 5 million subscribers, all of a sudden the value of what you would get out of a newspaper that 5 million people are subscribing to, it's the same newspaper that goes out to every single person, right? It's like Coke, right? You get the same Coke on every street corner. Well, you get the same New York Times no matter what, that kind of idea. So, but when you're making that kind of money, all of a sudden you start to think, well, I can pay people more, I can employ more people, I can do all these kind of things. So that's the idea of like social media is like that too. With everybody leaving Twitter, there is that sense of like, at what point does Twitter actually come back over the other side of its tipping point and really start to crumble and fall apart? So there's that idea too. And so now we have, EverQuest, eventually World of Warcraft beat them. And then Final Fantasy XIV seems to have achieved this thing where I don't know if they're as big as WoW is even now, but it's like they seem to be the thing that's on everybody's lips when they talk about MMOs.
Well, I mean, when you talk about online games, there is definitely a threshold that you have to hit.
Yeah.
Because it only works if there's a certain number of people around to make the matchmaking work.
And the thing about this that I find interesting is that you can beat the market leader. It is absolutely possible to do that, right? You can like EverQuest didn't get to keep that title until today.
Hi,
Hey,
we're live.
Yeah,
Would you like to come say hi?
it's okay.
We also have no paper towel anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. We keep our paper towel in Studio B because it is the most convenient place to keep it. So, but
He still has to come say hi to the audience.
it's true. Yeah, I think he did. Did he not?
No.
Hi.
There we go.
There we go.
Isn't this
Yeah.
nice?
How's everybody doing? You all having a good,
This is pretty
Yeah.
good.
all having a good
Yeah,
day?
yeah, we're doing
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
How are you?
We're talking
I
about
haven't seen you in a while.
You know what? You're
What's
right.
that
Let's
yesterday?
talk to
I
James.
didn't
Actually,
see you yesterday.
No, I put one of your shelves up.
thank you.
Oh,
The
cool.
big long one.
Yeah.
It should be good. I
Thank
put
you.
up a test one of the small ones
To
we
see
need
if
to
it-
find fasteners because they're gone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So don't use it, but it's up. And it looks
Okay, that's good. Wait,
But don't
so
use it.
there's no posts though. How is it actually staying on the wall? Like it's only.
friction.
Okay, I'll start looking for
So-
screws. Oh my god, it's terrifying.
Oh,
So remember, there's one shelf that you should use and one shelf that you shouldn't.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Choose wisely.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Oh, people want to know how James likes the new desk.
I love new desk. I think it's sick.
I think it's great. Yeah.
Very big.
Mm-hmm.
How does it sound, by the way, with the microphone? Like better.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of sick.
Yeah. So
right.
we know at least that even if we decide to do anything about this, it's like we have to make a big heavy desk in the future. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the
Bye-bye.
paper towel.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
So, as I was saying, you can beat the market leader. You know, EverQuest didn't get to keep the title forever because WoW
Yeah.
comes along and says we have achieved this. Fucking Adobe InDesign came along and beat the shit out of Quark Express. Like the thing is, we always know that you can make a thing that can beat the market leader, the thing that everybody is using or wants to be in or whatever. And whether that's because more people are using it, I mean, it's usually why it's that it wins is because more people end up using it. So this never stops. Like Concord had to be made because the company making it is like, we don't know if this will achieve what we want or not, but we are confident that it has the possibility to be able to do it, and then people give up on it. XDefiant is like, we don't know if this is going to make like Anthem, like all these games like, you know, that are trying to occupy these parts of the market. You know, PUBG seemed like it was going to be the thing, and then Fortnite comes along and eats PUBG's lunch, and everyone's mad, you know, because it's like, no, fuck, we had a brand new game that was cool, but now, you know, now we have a game that's stealing people away, and it's like, you have to keep making this game. You have to, in video gaming these days, you have to keep pumping money down the toilet. That is just, there's going to be so many of these huge AAA games that are going to fail next to the other games until another one makes it through, like breaks through and says, now I'm the guy that's doing all the great work. And then everyone comes over to that game. And it's like, it's so maddening to me to think that you have to do nothing but churn out a bunch of stuff that's not going to work as a game developer, and maybe you'll be a part of one project that actually works.
You work in comedy. That's all you do. Is
Yeah.
You have to churn out a bunch of stuff that you know probably won't work until something does.
That's how Saturday Night Live works. Even like it's I feel a lot better about like writing script or doing whatever here, where I'm like, it didn't go as well as I thought it would. And it's like, oh, the guys at SNL, that's the same thing they go through. Like, I
Yes.
thought I wrote a great script and did not resonate with anybody, and you're like, oh, I get it.
Nothing gets made without failure.
Yeah,
It's the thing that, I mean, as somebody who is...
we're not burning like $50 million on failure though here.
Well, no, because we don't have that kind
we
of
don't
money.
have that kind of money.
As somebody who, you know, is primarily a single player game player, it does make me sad to see all this effort being put into these games, you know, that are trying to hit this sort of multiplayer market because it is such a, you know, single player, Nintendo can come out with Zelda, they can come out with a Zelda game, and then they can come out with another Zelda game, and it doesn't have to be so good that it steals everybody from the previous Zelda game.
Yes.
People are done that game.
Yes.
And they move to the next thing. But the idea with these online games is they're perpetual. And so you have to be constantly you have to actually sort of defeat the previous game.
Yeah.
And there isn't really any long tail on them.
Yeah.
Like you can't be the like number 10 in the in that category.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
Like there is no number 10 in the there's the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then nothing.
Yeah, it's like you can make a game that performs so well in a limited market that you're like, we happen to make the best shooter that everybody in Brazil fucking loves, for example. And then it's because the social networks work the same way, right? Remember Orkut? And it's like right. But it's like, but that was like the big one for a long time, and just for Brazil for some reason. But it's like, yeah, you could make a really good this that operates in this one market because it just happens to be like it was programmed in that market, and so it's like all the language works down there and everything else that they're doing down there works, and culturally it works. You're like, that game could live in that space and very comfortably operate for a long time. But that's also kind of the indie model. And that's the idea of like, I can live on 1,000 true fans who are willing to bump like $100 a year to me, or that kind of idea.
But like if you're making a battle royale game,
yeah,
every game needs 100 people playing,
and you can't do it with 1,000.
If you only have 1,000 fans, you can only have 10 games running at once. If everybody who's ever bought the game is online,
constantly playing the game, never doing anything else,
you have a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the issue is they would prefer to have they want a game that people are constantly just going on, because then they only have to sell them that game once, and then they have a market that they can
perpetual. Yeah.
Whereas every time a new Zelda game comes out, you might, especially now, right? Not everybody jived with like Breath of the Wild, so if they brought out another one that's like that, you have to convince
It's risky.
people,
yeah,
right? Like it's a risk every time you bring a thing out. You bring out a new thing that has no franchise power behind it, you really have to sell it.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 brings out a new expansion pass. They already knew who they're selling to.
Yeah, it's true.
But then again, Final Fantasy 14 basically crashed and burned.
Yes.
And they put a ton of effort and money into revamping it to make it work again.
They crashed the moon.
So anyway, it's a,
It had all of the answers.
If you luck out and strike gold on your live service game, then you're set up for life.
Yeah.
But it's a tough
until
deal.
You're not.
It's a tough deal.
And you still have to you have to make the decision about Genshin Impact begats Honkai Star Rail begat Zenless Zone Zero. It's like, do you keep making new games? Do you keep making the same game? And
I mean, I don't think there's anything kind of wrong with making the same game over and over. You'll find that people will get a little bit bored of that maybe, or maybe they'll really enjoy it. Fan fiction I used to read was the same story over and over. People really loved to do the Silver Millennium for Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And if you could find one that was written well, didn't really care that I knew the story already.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you just want to read the thing that you enjoy. Yeah. Even if it's brand new chapters by a different author, but it's really well written.
Do you know you can replay video games?
Like Tetris. They just mentioned it in chat.
I'm pretty sure some people aren't aware of that.
I play threes so much. Holy shit, I play that game a lot.
Tetris is no fun now they know how it ends.
Oh, with the rocket?
Yeah. Baran.
The last thing that we had in the actual episode of Checkpoint was Roblox is introducing their own voice chat system that basically competes with Discord. It's not just like in-game chat,
right,
like you would have in other games. It's actually like a full client.
It's a separate app that you just can log into with your Roblox account if you have one, I guess.
Can someone defeat Roblox?
And it's called Party. And I have to say, in the few little video demos that I've seen of it, it looks more like business-like than Discord, which is confused. Like, it's not like, oh, it's Roblox. Everybody is like a little man who runs around and does things.
Yeah, VR
it's
chat.
It's like gray on light gray. There's just like a big thing where
Yeah.
there's the people's text, and then there's images. It looks like the most like
It's as boring as Slack.
the most office thing ever, which seems like an odd choice. Maybe that there is still in like the rollout period, or
Hey
they're gonna
kids,
make it all.
how do you feel about Microsoft Teams?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want Microsoft Bob. I want something more interesting.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, yeah, it looks boring as hell.
And I mean, obviously, there's nothing. It's this idea that like, chat game. Obviously, people playing Roblox have been chatting to each other on Discord or Skype or Zoom or whatever. I'm sure they've been using all sorts of different services to talk to each other while they've been playing.
This is just recapturing a market
But-
that, like,
But the idea that having it sort of built into Roblox, makes sense. But obviously, with all the questionable Roblox stuff, there is this idea that they won't. If there's a chance to do it wrong, they probably will.
yeah, and it's a weird feeling, right? Because I think like with Discord, when Discord came out, because I know people used to use Ventrilo and stuff like that. They probably still use Ventrilo to do like online conversations for some games, but like with Discord kind of like exploding into all these different things, and everybody can set up their own Discord server for all these different reasons. That's like, yeah, you can have. It's almost like I can have a meeting space centered just around a certain group of people from the larger thing that I might go and do, right? Like if you're on Fortnite, yeah, gathering in Fortnite to hang out with your friends is one thing, but there's probably also a lot of Discord servers out there that are occupied by people who play Fortnite with each other, but they hang out on Discord when they're not
Sure.
playing Fortnite. And that, they'll have their own little server of their own friends and stuff. And so
Roblox goes, why should those people be leaving Roblox?
yeah, why should they be somewhere else? Why don't we just give them that opportunity to do it here? And I'm like, that's terrifying, because I'm sure that party is going to be more of this thing of like, if you're in Roblox, you can set up your own party, which is your own group of people doing your own thing, and people have to get invited to your party and they have to do all these kind of things. Not like a larger, you can jump like fucking AOL chat, like not like you can just jump in and out of rooms, right?
I know there's this idea that you should name your service as like, a common sort of verb,
Oh, I'd like people to stop that.
so that it means that people are already like, saying your thing. So it's great.
Uh-huh.
But you're gonna have like, we're gonna have a party. We're gonna like, it's just confusing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like, let's have a party. Wait, you mean a party in party, or like a real party?
An actual party.
Meet you on party.
Yeah. We're going to have
I
a
mean,
party
I
where
don't
Discord.
think
What?
Yeah.
people don't actually have parties these days, do they? That's not like a real thing. Right? We've all accepted that we're all introverts at heart,
Post-COVID.
and we don't nobody has parties anymore, right?
I'm sure that's the case. Not just that we don't get invited to parties.
Oh, I get invited to parties all the time. I don't go.
Wow, nice flex. Everybody wants Heather at their party, but nobody gets Heather at their party.
Nobody's got cats. You invited the wrong parties.
All right, let's go on and talk about some of the stuff that didn't make it into the episode.
Yes.
Starting with the Fortnite no emote zone.
Oh, yeah.
So this is something that has existed in Fortnite before.
They
A
just have-
sign.
They
Yeah.
like
So there's a sign
okay.
like
All
this.
right. I was picturing more of like a Wile E. Coyote sign, like
So there's a sign
Right.
that's like no emotes in this area.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a fun thing. And people would like take pictures of themselves beside the sign doing emote because
They're
They're-
transgressive.
they're transgressive.
well, I mean, it's
exactly.
like seeing a sign that says "Stay off the grass."
God damn it.
Yeah.
The epic police can't keep me down. Look at me.
So
Do they get hit by lightning now?
the new area, the newest map update, they have the no emote sign, and then surrounding the no emote sign, there's like a border.
Yeah, there's like
There's an actual area.
They got like they got like bollards and shit kind of up, like like the big orange things to say, "Do not go beyond this point."
And if you emote in that, you get chucked.
Yeah, the game invisibly launches you into the air off the cliff.
Wait, isn't this more of an incentive to do this? I feel like I
Oh,
just
you
want
gotta
to do
see
this.
this.
I just want to do it now.
It's so
Here,
good.
let's.
Everybody emote on the count of three. Everybody come close. Emote on the count of three. One, two, three. Emote.
One guy didn't do it.
Yeah, I think he was trying to film what would happen. I think is the reason why he didn't. Because I'm like, yeah, you not doing it seems a little
They
suspicious.
should
But
throw them farther.
They could
yeah,
just
they
disable.
really should.
Yeah,
They
that's
could
not
just-
far enough.
Yeah, it's just like into
really
the distance.
Yeah,
I want to see a person going through the sky. They're just spinning.
yeah.
They could just disable being able to emote there. Of course they could, but that would be way less funny.
Yeah, the point is to be like, we launch you off this cliff, and when you hit the ground, you die. Like that's the thing, you're done. Like you've lost that match. So yeah, it's meant to be we're gonna give you a real consequence that
Yeah,
isn't
honestly,
like a real consequence.
if you make it so people can't actually emote there, people might just think that their keyboards are broken.
Yeah.
I assume you play keyboard if you're playing Fortnite because you're that much of a monster.
Yeah.
So, you gotta let them emote and they get punished.
Yeah. And I think they should introduce like a dozen or more different kinds of punishments just at random. Like I love the
Oh,
idea
that have
of
different
just getting
things
hit by lightning.
Lightning, a big foot, Monty Python style. It reminds me when I was playing was it Phoenix something or other?
Immortal
Rising.
Immortal
the,
Phoenix Rising.
The Ubisoft game, but there was the sort of final like when you do like combos and stuff,
Right.
and if you do the combo right thing and the guy's about to die and you hit at the right time, you go wonk and he just goes flying like off into the distance and dies. And I was like, I played that game on Play It Forward for quite a few sessions, and I was like, this will never become not funny.
Right?
And I was right. It never became not funny.
There is that thing about designing a video game where they're like, you need to be made to feel powerful.
Yeah.
And I think that in cases like this too, it's like the more powerful the punishment of transgression, it's like I think that's great to be like.
And it's such
do
a silly.
more.
It's
Yeah.
such a silly like. It
Yeah.
reminds me of that like no silly or silly hats only.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Just be like,
Well,
the
there
more
was
yeah.
there was that game we talked about a couple weeks ago where if you were cheating, people got turned into frogs.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And all
That
I
was
want now is a frog mode.
that was Overwatch.
Yeah.
They changed people
Everybody
into frogs.
should just be frogs.
Yeah.
Frog watch.
Yeah, because of course that's the problem. Yeah, the problem you run into, like if you get knocked really far, is that 100% people will come up with cool strategies where
Mm-hmm.
you like set yourself up in a specific spot in the
Oh,
no
right, it was
emote place,
deadlock.
do a specific no emote, and then you get thrown in a specific direction. You're like, haha, now I can get to the secret that I'm not supposed to get to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, it was Deadlock.
Deadlock
Oh, yeah.
was the frog one. No, Overwatch can't be that cool.
What else we got going on here? Oh yeah, Pokemon Go is so
Yeah.
the headline of this article in Eurogamer is Pokemon Go testing monthly reward scheme. Fans say you'll need 500 euros to fully unlock.
Wait, hang
or
on.
500 pounds to fully unlock.
So it's a test thing right now, so it's not in every area. It's you get rewards for doing certain things in games and like doing whatever, right?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
and this one is more like I think you get rewards for spending money.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you get 30 points for every $5.
It resets monthly, by the way.
And the top reward requires 30,000 points or 3,000 points. So it would be $500. So, I mean, these points are, I guess they're basically a premium. The points are sort of a premium currency, but you also sort of
Every
get
time you get
other
like
stuff?
a certain thing, you get like little reward things that you probably could have just gotten normally by doing some other stuff.
Yeah, by the time you hit 3,000 points, you will have unlocked 15 battle passes and 16 incubators, as well as a smattering of other rewards. This would cost you about a tenner normally.
Oh my
with
god!
buying it an in-game bundle.
So yeah, it's kind of like, it sounds like when you buy are you buying points or are you buying things and
I
then
think
getting points?
it's a loyalty thing.
Right. So it's kind of more of,
So it's not
as
like
you buy stuff, you're getting points and you're getting some extra rewards for it.
Right.
right.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's basically like whatever Kool-Aid points or whatever
Petro points.
Petra points. They're not worth. They're not actually like.
There's no cash value.
The $500 thing is illustrating how little actual value they have. So it's not as
It's
it's not as bad as it sounds, I guess one could say.
I mean, it's just
It
it's
doesn't-
kind of not.
It doesn't seem
They're
like
not giving out anything that sounds like you should bother like paying money to try to obtain, right?
Yeah.
It's not like when you buy.
I don't. From this article, it doesn't seem like there's something unique that you get.
Yeah, because there's sometimes there's specific events that you have to pay to be a part of if you want to get like a shiny version of a Pokemon or something.
But
right?
if you were
Like-
already spending the money, then
Yes.
you generate points
yeah,
to eventually
like
get
again, this
stuff.
does feel like a loyalty point
Yeah.
kind of thing, and it's a test thing. So it's like in Australia and Europe or something right now, or something.
I mean, if they have people that are spending enough, and the fact that they reset every month sucks. Like that's none of my point programs that I'm a member of in the real world ever delete your points, right? It's like your
True.
points are there for as long as you're accruing them. Even they can go hang for dozens of years.
But those are also point programs that are like you're exchanging points for a thing. This is like you hit 30 points, you automatically get this
Yeah,
thing.
you
It's
trade in
not-
for this.
You're not really doing a trade in. You're just
Which also is weird too, right? Because it just means that it's just acknowledging the fact that you spent to a certain level, and so therefore here's your stuff, and that does feel a little weird. Because I feel like if you were accruing points, you'd want to be able to turn around and like trade in your points for stuff to be like, oh, you've been getting all these points now, and you have like McDonald's does with burgers, right? It's like I eat
Yeah.
some stuff at McDonald's, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you have 2,000 points, get an ice cream cone
again, it's not that kind of point program.
if you want. Yeah, it's just it doesn't feel quite right, does it?
To
not
me,
a bad
it's
thing?
just like it's mostly like, oh, did you spend enough money? Here's an extra gift.
Yeah.
There are far worse things that they're doing. We talked about
Yes.
last week with the scanning of
Absolutely.
and things.
They could-
It's like this is just kind of like I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Nintendo does delete points if you don't spend them. I hate that shit. I'm not a fan.
I mean, yeah, McDonald's and Tim Hortons and stuff do too. I think.
Do they really?
Yeah, I think they only last for
Christ.
like. Well, I think they last for like a year or something.
Oh, okay, fair. Yeah, I think platinum points from Nintendo last 6 months. I'm like, I don't.
Platinum
like
points
that.
are 6 months. Gold points are a year.
Yeah,
Gold points are the ones that you spend actual money to accrue.
but at least you can like spend gold points on like a purchase of something digital. If you're like, oh, there's a $5 game I
Yes,
want to buy
I
in the
know.
eShop. So I'm explaining to people that the difference if they're unaware. So
Stalker 2
right,
has had a bit of a rocky launch,
has it?
and let's be honest, it's had a pretty rocky development process,
Oh.
as we talked about in the after show,
Right.
because a large portion of the development team is in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So that obviously has had a big impact on the development process.
Yeah, there's either less opportunity to do work, or some of them have joined the armed forces, or some of them have maybe escaped to not be a part of that because they might feel like they're in great danger. They are in great danger.
And a lot of the development is being done outside, but some of it is anyway.
Yeah.
So they've and Graham was talking. I think in the after show, Graham was like, people were talking about how it was super glitchy, and then old school Stalker fans were like, yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah, that's what we love about it.
But there is an aspect where the game director, when talking about the thing was like, at a certain point you go, can we do another sprint on this thing?
Oh,
Like, can we do another another round of bug fixing on this?
Right.
Do we have it in us
right.
to do this? And at a certain point, it's like, no, we can't. We got to just release.
It's got to
this
go
thing.
out because perfect is the enemy of good enough.
And they released it, and it had some issues, and as this article says that on average they have been patching it every 2 days since November 20th, I think. Yeah, is when it came out. So obviously they've been working hard on patching it, and it's interesting to see in comparison to some of these AAA releases that come out and get shot down very quickly.
Yeah, you might get like a day one bug fix pack that comes out, and then it's like nothing for a while.
Or it'll be, or it'll come out and be buggy, and it'll just get completely creamed in the ratings and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think people do feel that like there's a lot of goodwill, I guess, that is there, both from the previous Stalker game that people really enjoyed,
Yeah.
and even from this game, the idea that and I've seen people say it, and I think I saw somewhere the director was talking about it as well, that saying that people see that even if there are some bugs in it, people see the passion,
The heart of it.
and the heart of this project, and that we really care about this project.
Yeah.
Not to say that other developers don't care about their projects,
But it's,
but people see and are willing to handle maybe some less than ideal for the first little while stuff. So
I mean, a game can have charm.
exactly.
So this is a charisma based thing that it's like we love this enough, and we love the team, or we love whatever's happening here, that we put up with a lot of stuff. And people modded the original Stalkers, and it's just like getting to do that. I think is where the appeal is too. That people are like, we're waiting for another game to come out. Why? Not so much to play it, like we want to play it, but also because we cannot wait to start modding it. Which is a weird feeling to have. It's like I cannot wait.
It's a
for
dangerous thing to mod a game that is constantly being updated, though.
There's that too. Yeah, that's a good point.
But so yeah. Anyway, I haven't taken too much of a look at it myself, but I know obviously Alex has been very excited about it. I don't know if he's gotten into it yet, but anyway, GOG has this thing that they set up. So GOG, Good Old Games, the game store, has a system they set up a little while ago called the Preservation Program, which is the idea they so far there's a couple hundred games in there. These are games that GOG has committed to continuing to support independently from the developer. Often these are games that have been abandoned by their developers or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
They have committed to putting developer resources towards ensuring that these games continue to be playable. Because of course, a lot of times, Windows 11 comes out or Windows 12 or whatever, and the Windows 95 game doesn't work no more.
Yeah.
And so they've committed developer resources and time to keeping these games, this set of games, available. One of those games, or two of those games, were Warcraft 1 and 2, OG Warcraft. So orcs versus humans.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what Warcraft 2 was subtitled, but Warcraft was like Warcraft, orcs and humans.
Morecraft. Warcraft 2, Morecraft.
It probably was.
Sure.
So the idea was those games will be there forever. Unfortunately, obviously, Warcraft 1 and 2 owned by Blizzard,
Yes.
or owned by Microsoft now, I guess.
Well, yeah.
There is a new, so there have been Blizzard has its own like remaster
Release. Okay.
Yeah,
Warcraft
they
1 and
did
2.
a remake of the first one, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tides of Darkness, right? Of
Like
course. That was
the whole like
subtitle for
original.
Warcraft 2.
Okay, so Blizzard has made their own. They have made their own version of Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2.
Yeah.
That is a remaster,
That's a
higher res or something.
Yeah. Whereas the GOG one is
The
like-
original
yeah.
640 by 480
Well,
DOS running.
well, no. They say that they say it does go beyond the classic version. It says
Okay.
it has. They say they've made tweaks to the network code. They've fixed up the DirectX wrapper to improve its scaling on different monitor resolutions, all this kind of
So
stuff.
it runs in Windows. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blizzard has decided that they do not want that to be still available anymore. So despite, and so it's frustrating because of course GOG was like, these are going to be available forever
Yeah.
as long as we exist.
Sure.
But of course they don't have control over the
yeah.
license. And so they're saying, okay, here's what's going to happen. The game going forward, the game will not. The game is currently the Warcraft 1 and 2 bundle is currently on sale for $2 off. And then if you have to get it before December 13th, but because how GOG works, if you've got it, you've got it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's no authentication servers or anything.
So
So
just never be able to sell it past December 13th.
yeah, so after December 13th, you will no longer be able to get it from GOG. But
Right.
GOG wants you to buy it from them now
Right.
so that you will have it. But if you after December 13th, you will not have it. So
You got a week.
There's a bit of FOMO.
yeah, I mean, it's not their fault though.
No, it's not their fault, but they're kind of capitalizing on that idea too of, hey, you won't be able to get this ever again from us.
And they do say that going forward, even if a game is no longer available for sale
Right.
on GOG, they will continue to maintain and update it to make sure it's compatible with current and future
Well,
systems.
okay.
Which is that's a commitment.
That is a commitment, because you're basically saying that it's like, we know we cannot make any more money from this, and yet we see the value in maintaining its being able to be played. And that's like a big commitment, because they can always go back on. They can always turn around and be like, yeah, but nobody's playing Warcraft anymore, so we're not really going to have to worry about updating it. So
Yeah, obviously it's not legally. It's probably, I doubt it's a
Yeah.
legally binding
No.
agreement they made, but it's a
Yeah.
commitment, and I
No.
appreciate that they have done that.
I feel like in order to have FOMO, you have to care about missing out first.
there's that too. Yeah.
It's true.
If you've always wanted to play Warcraft, or you really enjoyed playing Warcraft, you might be like, oh, well, then I should go get these, even though I haven't thought about playing Warcraft in 20
I mean,
years.
Warcraft 2 was 100% like my first
Yeah.
RTS. I think it was the first RTS for a lot of games, for a lot of people. I should say.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it was mine too. Warcraft 2 anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Excuse me.
think that is most of the stories. Oh yeah, there was this this one other story that folks, one of our Foxmar, no, was it Foxmar? Mentioned, yeah, Foxmar mentioned this on our one of our mods, that Super Sega FPGA, which is a project that the idea being it was a FPGA to so FPGA field programmable gate array. It's like an emulation. So this was a thing to play Sega games. So Sega,
Right. An emulator thing.
it was an emulation device to play Sega Master System, Saturn, Dreamcast. And they were doing some funding for it. And then Sega was like, hey, guys, no.
You don't own this?
yeah, don't. Now, I feel like there's some questions about whether this person, whether this person understands what they're getting into, or B, whether they're sort of doing this deliberately to attract, raise their profile or something.
Oh, okay.
Because the way they're like, what's the name of the somebody
Super Sega is the name of the project.
Yeah. So anyway, Sega has approached Alejandro Martin, the lead behind the project, asking for the Super Sega name to no longer be used, all prototypes and units to be destroyed, the closure of the website, and details on the units sold and money made by the project. And they have Martin has responded, has told this website, Time Extension is the website reporting on this, that the name change will be considered, but production will not be stopped unless Sega is prepared to cover costs, expenses, and what consumers paid. And he says, if Sega does not agree to these terms, we think we will continue. Which I think misunderstands how the legal system works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's going on. Later on in this article that he says he intends to proceed with the project via a Kickstarter campaign,
Yeah.
which 100% will not work because
Nope.
Kickstarter shuts that stuff down pretty quick. So Kickstarter definitely complies with the MCA notices and does it all the time.
The funny thing too is that it's
So
like
I don't quite know how this is going to pan out.
this is all happening and it's very appropriate. This is all happening in Brazil because Sega is like big in Brazil.
Oh, really?
Way bigger than Nintendo ever was in Brazil. That's why this is a point of focus, I think, is like we're bringing this all back because there's going to be millions of people there who have all touched a Sega at least once in their life. So yeah, I don't know how that's going to affect anything that they're doing. Obviously, because the letter they sent looked like it was in Portuguese, like Brazilian Portuguese. So I'm assuming this is all happening in Portugal, and then I wonder how Kickstarter will react to that, or how any of that will apply to anything, where they will try to get, where they think they're going to be sued.
Kickstarter is still American, so they have to still follow American laws. It's,
Yeah.
Even though we're Canadian, we post stuff on YouTube. We have to follow American laws on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Kickstarter, like 100%, has taken down a lot of projects that violate copyright stuff. So
Yeah.
if anything, I expect to see it on like Indiegogo or something.
yeah.
One
That's
of the
fair.
one of the less strenuously checking crowdfunding sites, shall we say?
Can I wanted to mention a thing that I saw today on Mastodon. I'm just going to read a hair of this here. This is
A hair of the mastodon.
a hair of the Mastodon. It's a project that's called Exigy, EXIGY.org. And I just wanted to read a bit of this because I love, this is not a funny thing. I was like, I'd love to talk about this on Checkpoint. I have no idea how to do it. So this is VGA256, who is, I guess, the project lead. When I was a kid, you could build a simple gamer application by dragging and dropping a few UI controls and gluing them together with a few dozen lines of BASIC or Pascal or HyperTalk. It might take 15 minutes at most to get your little character walking around the screen. This is how we ended up with a lot of hilariously good and cheap shareware you could share on BBSs in the 90s. So we're going back. Right. For the past year, I've been quietly working on building a software thingy that doesn't exist anymore. I've been building a software toolkit that's kind of like Visual Basic and HyperCard and Borland Delphi, designed for making tile-based 2D games. I've been using it to build my own little goofy games and improving on the drag and drop IDE as I figure things out. It's not done yet and has a long ways to go before it's ready for other people to start making their own little applications and games. You know, think Pico 8 or ZZT. If they had grown up on a steady diet of Windows 3.1 and GeoWorks Ensemble instead. I'm really, really bad about polishing turds to infinity and never releasing them. To break that habit, I've built a mini website for the IDE/shareware creation kit. It's called Exigy. I'll be posting weekly blog and devlog things there. And I'm just like, I love the idea that they're doing RPG Maker or Game Maker Garage or like any of these little toolkit things that that like either in recent years or like older style where it's like, you can make a little game for yourself to play or for you to share with your friends or that you could put online ultimately. And they're trying to do a thing that's based around that idea to make little shareware games that you can pass around to people. And I was like, man, I don't know how I would even bring this up on Checkpoint because it's such a cool idea. It's such neat that I would never implement, but I just love that idea. So yeah.
I mean, I have a soft spot in my heart for anything HyperCard related.
Yeah.
That was my programming introduction. I mean, I guess the question would be like, what it has over something like RPG Maker or Game Maker, or
Exactly.
whatever,
Yeah.
which are sort of already those kind of trying to be those sort of simplified tools.
Yeah, and occupying that space and having like a lot more like oomph behind them and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I saw this and was immediately kind of charmed by the idea of this person is trying to build a little tile-based 2D game maker. And I thought, well, okay, if there are people who listen to this and love that kind of thing, that it's like, go check that out and see if you like the idea. Or maybe they're the kind of person who's going to open up development for that kind of idea. Or maybe there's like something else going on that twigs your interest in doing a thing.
I feel like there's a path of like, being a relatively experienced developer and being like, I want to make a cool little fun game.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, I'm going to make this cool little fun game. Well, in order to make that cool little fun game, I need to make like an engine to run that cool little fun game in.
Yeah.
And so I'll make a cool little fun engine. And then but then I need something to build that. And so you sort of like, you sort of inadvertently start making your own game maker thing just for yourself to use.
You're building all your dev tools, yeah.
And then you're like halfway through and you're like, I could just polish this up and actually release this.
Yeah. All I want to do is just make a game, but I've actually made a thing. So yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different, there's stuff for the Playdate and stuff for things. But I mean, not that I'm saying that makes this something that isn't good, right? Like more of these kind of tools for people to make silly games or silly projects with, I'm all for.
And sometimes, shining a light on that stuff, I think is really cool to just be like, oh, you know what? Let's just put our spotlight on this for a minute. And maybe there's people in the community here who are like, that's interesting, Beach, thank you. Or you're like, oh, that's kind of like these other things. I always wanted to do that other thing, Go make stuff.
I mean, at least it's not a fan-made project, because shining a spotlight on that just pulls those down.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
true too, right?
Stop shining spotlights on us. The light, it burns us. And finally, let's watch a video.
All right.
Wait, I have to.
Are we going to watch the video, or are they going to watch the video?
I'm gonna.
We want to show it, but okay, everybody close your eyes. In 3, 2,
Wait, how do I?
1, close
There
your
we-
eyes.
Okay, wait, I can do this. Here we go. Wait, it didn't do it. Damn
It's
it.
okay.
No. Okay.
And open your eyes.
Pretend you didn't see the tweet about this, because holy crap. This is that secret.
Oh, right. The secret level is that, was it Prime was doing this show?
Yeah. So this sort of Love, Death, and Robots,
Okay,
but
so why
video games.
is Pac-Man looking like Arcane?
I don't know. This is the thing that, the most publicity it's got is that there's going to be a episode on Concord, and Concord won't exist.
Yeah.
But it's going to have episodes about other games too.
Yeah.
Okay, but will people know that it's Concord? Because that didn't look like Pac-Man. So what does Concord look like?
I mean, I think the idea.
What if they accidentally make Concord look way more interesting than it ever was, and people?
I mean, that's the danger, right? Yeah. But I think the idea is it's like inspired by the game or whatever.
I am interested though, because that's gonna be shit posting content that people are gonna just start putting different words in the background that also don't mean anything to the people watching.
That's true. You can basically put any video game.
Yeah, it'd be like, what does this have to do with it? What do you mean discover solitaire?
Yeah. It did have like an odd world look to it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's much more it.
And actually, I wanted to.
Arcane's got way more shading and stuff in it.
I wanted to quickly mention, not as mentioning Prime, not at all saying that you should get Amazon Prime.
No.
But if you do have Amazon Prime, firstly, you have a free Twitch sub that you should definitely use. we would appreciate it if you use it on us. But if not, that's fine too. Just use it somewhere
Just use it. Don't let them keep that.
because it's just wasted Bezos money otherwise.
Yeah.
But secondly, because of this game coming out, or because of this show coming out, the current Prime, like if you've got Amazon Prime, the current like free game deals are kind of banging.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, there's a bunch of the Warhammer 40K games like Dawn of War and Space Marine, and a bunch of the Warhammer 40K games. There's a bunch of like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and Icewind Dale.
Oh, like the enhanced edition
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, the enhanced edition ones. There's Dredge is currently up. So there's like a bunch of games that you just get for free if you've got
Yeah.
Prime. Again,
Isn't,
don't get Prime. Like this is not an endorsement of Prime, but if you've got
If you've
Prime,
got it
don't
already.
waste it.
Don't you get like Audible for free if you have Prime now too?
Maybe.
I thought that was.
Yeah, Outer Worlds as well.
You
Not
could also books.
not Outer Wilds. Outer Worlds. Still good.
Oh right.
Still good, but not the same. Came
That's
out.
still it doesn't matter forever. Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds is always going to be that thing
They
where
must have
nobody
just
knows.
been so sad.
Nobody
Like the
knows.
marketing departments of both sides, because they were. I feel like it's like they're both space related games.
Yep.
They came out at the same time.
Outer Wilds is the one that's really interesting and puzzle oriented, right?
Yeah, Outer Wilds is the time one. Is like
Right.
the time loop.
Yeah.
one.
But if I'm remembering right, it's also the one that basically gives you answers to puzzles that you don't know are there. Like you really have to be thinking about what you're doing.
It's definitely got some tricky stuff going on. But yeah, they both came out at the same time. It's very similar names. I feel like they were about similar levels of popularity at the time too,
Right.
Or at least in the circles that I
Yeah,
was
and then one got
looking
DLC, and then people were like, "Wait, which one is that again?" like it doesn't matter.
at. Anyway.
Can't keep them straight.
So that's all I had here for news for talking about this week. If you haven't seen the episode of ChillPoint that went up this week, you should do that. It's up on our YouTube channel.
DLC.
youtube.com/LRRVG is our video game YouTube channel. And if you become a member of that channel, you get your name at the end of the ChillPoint episode. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. And we will talk to all y'all later. Bye.